His name is Creepy Travels, and if you've never heard of him, he's the kind of person who drives alone into the darkest corners of the Tennessee mountains, looking for places most people pretend don't exist. Haunted hollows, abandoned roads, locations where folklore and reality have a way of blending together. That's his world. That's what he does. But on this particular night, he made a decision he almost immediately regretted. No car, no shelter. Just a hammock, strung between two trees, somewhere in the middle of woods that locals have called haunted for as long as anyone can remember. He set up while it was still light, found his spot, got the hammock secured, and before the sun went down, he decided to take a walk. That's when he found something that didn't belong there.
And that day I wasn't here. I was here on some other weird stuff. And I went back and talked to the guy that was staying in this tent and got information from him before I come out here. The whole story back then is like, shoot, 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, something like that. He was staying up here. And it was warm, summer night. Didn't even need a tent, but you stayed in a tent because all the animals, the bears and wolves and stuff, it gives you a little sense of security. But he left his front tent unlocked or unzipped, wide open, and he's stuck his feet out. Well, he felt something on his foot, and he just kind of said he kicked his foot. And after that, he said he felt something on his foot again. That's when he thought it was a friend playing a joke on him. He opened up his eyes and looked out, and he said it didn't have much light, but from the light of the moon and everything, behind this thing, he said he could make it out pretty damn good. And this is an older man. He's old now. He's 7 years old now. He was around 60, 58, 60 then. And he don't even know what this stuff is. He don't even have internet. He don't have a phone. He lives in a log cabin. And he described it. And since then, everybody's told him what they thought it was. And he said everybody calls it they got different names. They say a crawler, a skinwalker, or wendigo. But he said it was a human-looking body, but real skinny, stretched out arms, long fingers that was draping over his foot. And he shot his tent up with a shotgun, trying to get it and shoot. And he said it jumped up and ran back behind the tent. That's why he started just shooting through the tent. And he hasn't been back out here since. And that happened right up here. Like I said, I wasn't out here during that. Right there's the tent right there. Part of what's left of it. Okay, who's been coming up through here? I don't know if y'all can tell that on camera. But this tent. And the other tent was down there. And then this one. This was his tent. They never come back after that. All this stuff just become, afraid I'm gonna kick up a copperhead. There's the pose to the tent.
What he didn't mention at first, and what makes this so much harder to dismiss, is that this wasn't just any stretch of woods. 10 years earlier, a friend of his had an encounter in this exact location, something he couldn't explain. What he did say was that whatever he saw that night moved like a man, but wasn't one. A skinwalker. That's the word he used. Most people would have stayed away, but not him. 10 years later, he came back, alone, with nothing but a hammock. He spent what was left of the daylight exploring the area, flashlight in hand as the last of the sun bled out of the sky. Nothing unusual, nothing out of place. So he climbed into his hammock, closed his eyes, and decided the best way to get through the night was to sleep through it. The woods had other plans, and that brings us right back to where we started. He's wide awake now, standing in the dark, flashlight on, trying to make sense of what just happened. He sweeps the light through the trees. Nothing there. No animal, no person, nothing he can see. But go back and listen to that audio. You can hear something moving through the leaves around him, circling, more than once. And then that hit, clear as anything. He doesn't spend a lot of time thinking about it. He takes the hammock down and walks out. Honestly, I don't blame him. When you can hear something that close and you can't see anything, what are you supposed to do? Stay and hope for the best? And remember, this is the same spot where his friend had that encounter 10 years ago. That's not nothing. So I want to ask you, knowing all of this, knowing what happened there before, would you have gone into those woods in the first place? Let me know in the comments. Hoodoo is a channel built around one thing, being outside. Survival camping, bushcraft, hiking, hunting. If it happens in the wild, that's where you'll find them. And this particular trip looked exactly like that. A cold winter day, just the two of them, deep in the woods, building a shelter from scratch. By the time evening came, they had everything. Shelter, fire, even pizza cooked over the flames. But then the sun went down, and here's what happened next, in his own words.
At this point, it was quite a bit later than when I first walked down to check on my car. We were just sitting around the fire, and we kept hearing these two guys talking. I kept seeing this truck driver out in the field with his lights off. It started to make me feel a little bit uneasy because they'd been doing this for about half an hour. They didn't have a campfire going, and they seemed to be up there for no reason. And this isn't some popular camping spot. It's January, and it's negative 12 degrees outside. To get to this place, you need to take kind of a slick road up this canyon, and it's not the easiest place to get into. Then once you get up to this flat area, you need to get off of the road and onto some ATV trails and drive another half mile or so to get to where our car was parked. I kept my eye on these guys, and I walked down to my car every 15 minutes or so just to see if they had left, because their behavior was suspicious. But they weren't doing anything wrong. But things continued to get weirder. Then me and my wife were just sitting around the fire, and we see these lights coming towards our camp. And when they pulled in, they turned off their lights and slowly crept near our car. My immediate thought was maybe these guys think we're in trouble, and maybe they think that we need help or something, or maybe they're just coming to check to see if we're okay. Once this truck got to where we had parked our car, they started shining their brights at us, and they turned off the lights completely. We have a guy right there that parked his truck. He keeps shining his brights at us, and he has not left us alone ever since we got here. It's like almost 9 o'clock at night. This immediately raised the hair on my neck. If these guys were just wanting to talk, why are they turning their lights off? I walked towards my car from the campsite, and right when they had saw that I was there because I turned my light on, they burned out and took off. This was a turning point for me. If these guys had good intentions, why did they burn out of here trying to run away? And why were they trying to sneak around so much? Here's the video footage we got of this. These guys' lights completely off.
Really close to it though.
Okay, so sorry it's kind of dark, but he sat right there for like 5 minutes. He came like feet away from my car, like right here. And then I shone my light at him and he took off.
We're in the middle of nowhere, like super far from town.
All right, so I was just following his tracks a little bit. He chucked this out the window. I don't know what this guy's deal is, but I might follow him out, make sure he leaves.
Well, he kept shouting like stuff at us too. I don't even know what. We couldn't really understand.
So this guy's coming towards us now. So we're gonna get in the Jeep.
Yeah, they turned back around. They're coming this way. They're coming up around us, like on the other side.
Once we got in the Jeep, we waited for them to come. I wanted to be in my car just in case they came back, so if we needed to, we could leave. And once they saw my car was on and that we were inside, they turned around and left. We sat there for a while and decided to go back to camp and pack up to leave. I don't feel very good about this. He keeps trying to circle us.
They flipped around.
Like he's coming out of just all angles. We got back to camp, we were just packing up to leave, and we heard a car door shut. And then a little while later, so I heard footsteps outside of our camp a ways, but it sounded like these guys were trying to sneak up to our camp with their lights off. So Soraya's hearing these guys sneaking up on us now with their lights off. Like, this is not normal, so we're gonna get out of here. We're not gonna be filming as much, we're just gonna be safe and get out of here. But then we heard them turn around and get back in their truck.
Coming back and forth, turning their lights off.
I've spent hundreds of nights outside, and like I'm totally fine camping next to people. Heck, like I lived in a van and was like constantly around people, constantly in campsites and stuff. When people act like that, it's best to just leave. It's just not worth it.
Don't know what they're up to. We'll get the rest tomorrow. That way we can get out of here fast.
Moments later, this is what happened.
Okay, I don't know if you can see, but they're driving right over to us again. Luckily, Brighton has a pistol, packing our stuff out, and now they're watching us. They can tell us that we're here because our lights are on. Here's the Jeep. Oh, they're coming towards us, Brighton.
What?
They're coming towards us.
You guys need help or something?
No, we were just wondering what the light was.
Yeah, we just lost. Yeah, we're just camping.
Oh, okay.
And just like that, they're done. Gear packed, fire out, gone. 3 times that truck came back. 3 times it stopped, lights off, just sitting there in the dark watching them. And when the 2 men finally walked up and talked to them, the explanation was that they'd seen a light and got curious. Curious, 3 times, at -10 degrees, in the middle of nowhere. At some point during the night, the couple had already made a decision. The firearm they had with them wasn't staying packed away. And honestly, you have to ask yourself, what were those 2 men doing out there? It's winter. It's freezing. They're driving around in the dark with their lights off. A beer can doesn't explain that. Their behavior does though, and what it says isn't good. We don't know what their intentions were. And I'm glad we don't. What matters is that the couple didn't wait around to find out. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is just leave. This next one is short. 9 years old, been floating around the internet for a while. A group of friends decide to explore a cemetery near where they live. Nothing unusual at first, just some kids walking around at night with a camera. But then, from behind one of the crosses, something comes up fast and goes straight for one of them.
Slow down, Tim. Stop. No, seriously, don't.
Liam. You reckon I can hit a grave?
I don't, man.
I reckon I can. Yeah, I do, man.
Now you've seen it slowed down. And I'll admit, at first glance, that thing coming from behind the cross looks strange. Wrong shape, wrong movement. Some people called it a fairy, others something else entirely. My take? I think it's a bat, caught at an odd angle, wings half open, which is why it looks deformed. That's my honest opinion. But here's the thing that makes this harder to dismiss. The guy who ran, he didn't walk away clean.
Oh, dude, it looks bad.
Really?
Yeah. Does it hurt?
No, it's fine.
Really?
Yeah.
Looks like it hurts.
It doesn't.
You said it hurt before.
I did not.
Seriously.
That's going to leave a mark, right? Now, for those of you who watch closely, what do you think that was? Drop it in the comments. Most people don't think of a wild horse as a threat. Curious, maybe. Unpredictable, sure. But dangerous? This couple was out riding through the Alberta Foothills with their 2 dogs when a wild stallion came galloping straight toward them out of nowhere. And that's when things got complicated.
Come on, buddy. Who? Hey, where you going? Yeah. Hey. Oh. Okay. Yeah. It's a good thing there isn't. Come on, there you go. Hey! Lindo!
Lindo, come. Lindo.
Okay.
Go.
This encounter with the dogs is about to get way too close. If you folks are riding up there, just watch your dogs if you run into this fella.
Go. Go.
Hey! Hey! Hey!
Lindo.
That dog came inches away from a kick, that could have killed him instantly. The force behind a stallion's hooves in that moment is something most people never want to find out firsthand. This time, everyone walked away fine. But the encounter wasn't over. That stallion followed them for more than 2 miles, not charging, not attacking, just watching, keeping pace. My guess? That was his territory, and he wasn't done making sure they knew it. He stayed on them until they were far enough out that he was satisfied they were leaving. Only then did he turn back. The abandoned camper is exactly what it sounds like. A channel built around camping in strange, unusual places. Posts are rare, but the locations make up for it. And this one is about as unusual as it gets. She decided to spend a night stealth camping alone in a city cemetery. Not near it, in it. A cemetery that's been active since the early 1800s. She found her spot, set up camp before the light was completely gone, and even took a walk through the grounds. Nothing unusual, quiet. But then she did something that, looking back, probably wasn't the smartest call. She lit a fire in a cemetery during a stealth camp, and that fire had consequences.
I brought hot dogs. I just had to put out the fire because there are people walking around back here. They don't have headlamps on, but like I said in my last video, I do not like being around people in the middle of a forest, especially when it's dark out. So I might pack up and get out of here when I think the coast is clear. Okay, I'm packed up. I'm ready to go. So, luckily I have a friend that lives around this neighborhood, so maybe I'll just go continue this night in their backyard because I was looking forward to having a nice night. And there's still people here. I can barely hear their voices, but they're like way off in the distance. And there's the occasional dog bark. That dog that was barking at me, he keeps barking.
She didn't hesitate. The moment she heard people nearby, the fire was out, gear was packed, and she was gone. Smart call. She was almost certainly on public property where camping isn't allowed, and that fire was a dead giveaway. Anyone looking in that direction would have seen it instantly. But here's the detail that stuck with me. The people she heard moving around out there had no flashlights. None. In complete darkness. In a cemetery. Make of that what you will. She ended up spending the night in her friend's backyard. Not exactly what she had planned, but sometimes that's just how it goes. You don't always get the adventure you came for. Sometimes you get a different one. So, I want to ask you, do you think she made the right call leaving when she did? Or should she have found a way to hide the fire and stick it out? Let me know in the comments. If you want to see more stories like these, the subscribe button is right there. It's free, and you can always change your mind. And before you go, 3 more encounters are waiting for you on the screen right now. The most recent one I put together, one YouTube thinks you'll enjoy based on what you've watched, and a full playlist if you want to keep going. Stay safe out there.